Well, it is 8:30. It's time for the weekly meeting of the Mitchell County Board of Supervisors. We have an agenda in front of us. Item 3 will be deleted. Is there any other additions or corrections to be made?
I have none. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda unless Joel has something.
I have nothing. I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and second to approve the agenda. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 2, County Attorney General discussion. Mr. Walk, you're up.
Oh, I've got just a couple things. I talked to Ivan Wold last night on that property over in St. Ansgar, and he says they're supposed to be getting me the documents from Rourke, but I just haven't received them yet. Question I had for Lowell. Lowell, did we ever get reimbursed from the state on those expert witness fees? Because the judge ordered the state to reimburse us.
Not that I recall.
Okay, I'll check up on that then. Other than that, I don't have anything else other than what you wanted to discuss.
Okay, under County Attorney General discussion, we have the certified local government resolution. Basically, we had asked last week that there possibly be a resolution drafted on, let's see if I can find out if there's someplace. To rescind the Historical Preservation Commission for Mitchell County. Supervisor Goldplander, do you want to, I know you had concerns about it.
All right. I mean, at one time or another, in the preservation folder that I had, there was a code of ethics in that folder, and after going through that code of ethics, I thought I had some concerns as to whether or not
Okay.
this commission is even up to those standards. Then I went on to the National Alliance for Preservation Commissions, and that seems to be just what it says, National Alliance. You don't necessarily have to belong. I guess there is a dues and whatnot for that, but even with that, I guess I would like to know what the commission's feeling is on that code of ethics.
We would like to address this issue, and I guess
We'll give you a couple of minutes to...
You want me to do that now, or do you want to?
No, that'd be fine.
Okay, good, great. My Historic Preservation Commission colleagues, which include Penny and Mary and Janelle and Mary and I, there's one other who's not here.
Could you differentiate between the Historical Preservation Commission and the Mitchell County Historical Society, of which you are also president?
Yes.
There seems to be a lot of confusion out there. Folks are thinking that we are against the Mitchell County Historical Society, which we are not.
Right. I certainly appreciate that.
Right.
That's right. Members here, some of whom, maybe all of whom, are members of the Mitchell County Historical Society, but that is a separate, distinct, freestanding entity from the Mitchell County Historic Preservation Commission. I guess my colleagues and I are here knowing the possibility of dissolving the commission and that it's on your agenda. We're, of course, eager to hear your rationale. Speaking on behalf of the commission, I call your attention to 6 points that might otherwise be overlooked in your deliberations. Point number 1, and this is in response to a comment from a supervisor, similar comment this morning, we're not getting what we wanted from this group. This appeared in the Globe Gazette. Since its founding in 2010, the Commission has not received direction from the Board of Supervisors, nor have supervisors attended Commission business meetings. Meanwhile, the Commission has developed annual plans which are shared with the Board. Commission activities are also forwarded to the Board with ample opportunity for feedback and communication, although none has been forthcoming. If Commission performance is being measured against expectation, which is a very reasonable assumption, surely Commissioners should have the benefit of knowing what the Board expects. Point number 2, Commission efforts regarding the courthouse have been narrow and focused, seeking a detailed cost estimate for rehabilitating existing space from a qualified professional. Toward this end, the Commission applied for and was approved to receive state grant funding, dollars which, like the detailed estimates they sought to provide, have not been received since the Board ultimately determined not to pursue this course. Point number 3, to ensure compliance with the Iowa Code, which forbids the use of public funds for political purposes, the Commission informed individuals interested in advocating on behalf of courthouse rehabilitation that this is not the Commission's purpose, and if they wish to do so, they might create a new entity for this specific purpose. This was the genesis of Friends of the Mitchell County Courthouse. Friends of the Courthouse, just like the Historical Society, is a distinct, separate, freestanding organization with its own governance and decision-making structure. No commission member serves as an officer of the Friends, and I would also add that no member of the Historical Society is an officer of the Commission. For Commission members who wish to engage in the political process or lobbying, there are other avenues, including seeking public office, supporting political candidates, and/or supporting Friends of the Courthouse. These avenues of expression are consistent with commissioners' responsibilities as citizens and commissioners' First Amendment rights. Point number 4, consistent with these points, and in light of the care taken by the Commission to avoid engagement in the political process or lobbying, the Globe Gazette article on 3/19 was especially disappointing. Commission members are offended by serious yet vague, unsubstantiated accusations, specifically when a supervisor is quoted questioning Commission members' ethics and saying they don't seem to be following the Code of Ethics. Commissioners respectfully request that these charges be specified in detail which members, which items in the Ethics Code, which actions might be in violation, or that these charges be retracted and an apology offered to Commission members. Point number 5, Commission members are similarly offended by a supervisor comment that they appear to have a political agenda against the county. It's not clear here what "they" means, whether it's the Commission or Commission members. This unsubstantiated charge questioning the Commission or Commissioners' motives is outrageous, especially given the commitment of time and energy required to be an effective Commissioner, with these present today having met the test. Again, Commissioners respectfully request a retraction and an apology. My last point, number 6, while it is within the prerogative of the Board to disband the Commission, presumably this action would be taken only after engaging in serious conversation with the Commission, after thorough consideration of various alternatives, and after weighing all potential outcomes and implications of such a decision. Whatever actions are taken by the Board today, Commissioners are grateful to the Board for the opportunity to serve Mitchell County and express a renewed commitment to pursue Commission goals, identifying and preserving historic structures and sites, providing information and resources to owners of historic properties, and hosting events connecting the present to the past. Thank you for your time this morning. My Commissioner colleagues and I are happy to address any questions that you might have.
First one, can we have a copy of what you
You
just
certainly may. I did bring a few extra copies.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cool. That's great. Jim? Mark? Thanks.
Guess I have another question.
Sure.
Will all the members of the commission have any or all of you read the National Alliance for Preservation Commission's Code of Ethics?
I think we have, yeah. No.
And what's your feeling?
Yes, indeed.
Do you think they're meritable? Do you think they're good code? Or
I think that we have had no issues or questions with the code. I mean, it's not, I have to be honest with you, it's not something that we have pulled out each meeting, you know, I mean, but I received it in a mailing from Lowell's office, and yes, we have read it, and after the newspaper article, we discussed it and distributed it, discussed it informally.
do you feel that the public has a right to know, I can hear it, responsibilities to the community, number 5.
Mhm.
public's right to know by providing full, clear, and accurate information. Penny, do you provide full, clear, and accurate information on your YouTube? Do you leave things out once in a while? Or is it?
We're addressing what the commission does? What the commission does?
Well, aren't you?
I'm a member of the commission.
Are you president of that commission?
I'm president of the commission.
Well then, when you're at the commission meeting, does the code of ethics apply, but when you're away from the commission meeting, the code of ethics doesn't apply?
Well, I think it's clear that sometimes
I think what y'all need to do is sit down and really go through this and read it, because there are many things in here
Well,
that
I
I've
think that,
highlighted, and
I think that's a good suggestion, and I think that we can certainly put that on, first and foremost on the agenda at our next meeting. I
and then
appreciate
also,
that.
if you go on this website, you'll notice too that this commission serves at the pleasure of this board of supervisors, or at the pleasure of the mayor and the city councils of larger cities or whatever.
Of course.
So now, when I see all this commission ganging behind this type of crap in the
This-
paper,
But this is, there
this
needs
is,
to be.
but yes,
cannot
but you're all
interrupt.
members of the Friends of the Courthouse. You can't serve two masters, in my opinion.
Are you saying that as members of the commission, we no longer have the right to be members of Friends of the Courthouse?
You can choose whatever you want to do, but be very careful what you do.
In other words, if we are involved with one organization, there are no officers, there
Degrading
are.
and ridiculing the Board of Supervisors. You serve at our pleasure, and now you expect us to throw our arms around you and say, oh my, you're doing a really great job for us? No, you are not, in my opinion.
I don't think that anybody expects you or anyone else to throw their arms around us. I think that
I
if
expect you to do your job. I expect you to do what this code of ethics points out, and there are many things in there.
I haven't yet heard one example how we are, quote, not doing our job.
Okay, commissioners and staff should treat all citizens fairly, impartially, and with respect, and refrain from discrimination or harassment of any kind. I look at these ads and I see harassment. Harassment of the Board of Supervisors. The Board of Supervisors, possession, architects, will present the final 3 plans of the courthouse. All more than double the court size. Extravagant waste of your tax money. You don't think this is harassment, Mark? Would that be harassment?
And that was put in the paper before the meeting even happened.
What,
Just kind of
what,
boils my,
We can't be interrupting.
I understand.
it just really upsets me that there was another one in here, and where, let me find it.
Well, there was a letter to the editor last week, and in this letter to the editor, it explained that basically the Board of Supervisors are not intelligent enough to make any kind of major decision. And that really kind of hit me pretty hard, as opposed to when the Vallon plant came to Mitchell County, basically in the efforts of Brenda Dreyer, but it also took the Board of Supervisors to be able to get behind that project in order to make it happen. Very few counties would probably have done what the Mitchell County Board of Supervisors done in order to make it happen. We also might have an opportunity here in Mitchell County for a company to come in with over $1 billion, with a B, investment. And again, it's going to take the Mitchell County Board of Supervisors to participate in some manner, shape, or form if this is going to happen. Again, $1 billion with a B, and we're not smart enough to make major decisions. I am very disappointed when I have to read crap like that. And when that same person is part of the Preservation Commission, and like Joel says, Supervisor Voigtlander said, I mean, there has to be a little bit of respect here.
Under responsibilities to the community, number 10, commissioners and staff should recognize that the the historic built environment changes over time and encourage new development that respects the historical character and fabric of the preceding.
I think,
And I think, look, you know, we've had how many studies and how many architects have walked through there, and how many engineers have been down there, how many local citizens have been down there. And I've not heard one say, my gosh, this is a hugely great, wonderful place, you need to preserve it. Just the opposite. I've heard architects tell me, have you ever thought of condemning it? The other one, you have a building in failure.
It's been neglected too long.
So I don't know if grandma's a good one to liken it to, but you know, when the brain's dead and the heart's failing, the kidneys have gone, is it time to pull the plug? Or do we just continue on?
that's not a supervisor decision, obviously, pulling the plug on grandma, but the
I
comment.
use that as an analogy for this building.
No, I understand.
There's nothing left. Bob said it best. He says, yeah, we could rehabilitate, or we could fix that building, but you would have to dismantle everything to do it. Well, if you're gonna do that, and basically that's what the public and the architects have led us to, new courthouse, because that's what you're gonna end up with in the end anyway, if you try to fix it. But getting back to this, those are my concerns. Am I gonna apologize for it? Absolutely not.
I don't want to interrupt you.
Okay, I'm done. I
My-
better shut up
my-
before I get in trouble.
My point,
I'll get misquoted in the paper
Let's,
and
let's move on.
my point in response to the ad, one can question whether this is right or good or fair or appropriate, and that's a legitimate concern. And I understand what you're saying here. My point is that this was not put in by the Historic Preservation Commission. This is a separate and different organization. And if the thinking is that because there is an overlap in membership, that presupposes if one of you is a member of a church body, that you're not able to discern differences in community roles here. And I think that the idea that because you disagree with things that have appeared in the paper, you are therefore going to disband the commission. Now that is within your right to do. I don't question that. None of us question that. If that's the course of action you wish to take, then, you know, that's your decision.
Well, Kurt, I don't think any of us mind that the Preservation Commission disagrees with us. I think it's how it's being presented that is the problem. It is being presented in a way that is not a positive presentation. It can get belittling and so forth. And that is not the same as having a disagreement. I have no problem that other people disagree with the Board of Supervisors or myself at any one point in time. It's a matter how it is being presented. And some of these articles have not been
this is the vote that was taken at the DOT. Not even close to what was printed in the paper.
Well, that's another matter that
Yeah, right.
that I'm not involved
But,
with.
I mean.
I would point out that I attended an event on Saturday where there was an author who had written a book about some of the historic roles of women during World War II, black women. And there was an event that was, in essence, co-sponsored by the Historic Preservation Commission. This was not Friends of the Courthouse. This was not the Historical Society. This was the Historic Preservation Commission. There was no mention, so far as I know, at that gathering, because we don't perceive that that is our role as a commission. Now, the commission did not authorize the ad. The commission has not taken positions on these matters. Individual commissioners are members of the Historical Society. But that's not to say that the two are the same. And individual members are members of Friends of the Courthouse. Not officers. That's not to say the two are the same. If you want to have Betty McCarthy, for example, who's the president of the Friends of the Courthouse, come in and say, you know, we make these decisions, then, you know, I'd be happy to have Betty come in and testify about that. But, you know, I think that it's easy to say, because this comes and the similar people are involved, therefore we're going to do away with the commission. That's your prerogative, but it's sort of like it's shooting, you know, in a crowded theater. You know.
Well, here's
Do you think that's a conflict of interest to be on the both different boards like that and acting the way they are?
Well, I do think that those are interesting roles. You bring up conflicts of interest. I know how you all, because you're a three-person commission, end up serving in a lot of different roles in the community with various and sundry commissions. One could argue that those constitute conflicts of interest.
We have to sign conflict of interest statements to serve on those other boards.
And I think that's a wise policy. I think that maybe is a good thing for us as commissioners, should we continue to exist in that capacity, that we should have to look at conflicts of interest, and maybe we could borrow your policies. I think that's a wise and appropriate step. I don't think that that's been suggested by you all up to this point, and had you suggested it, I think it would have appeared on the agenda. We would have then debated it, and you would have said, "Oh, that's good policy, and that's effective. Let's go that route." But you know, up to this point, I don't think that has surfaced as an issue. So,
one more thing in the third paragraph here in this ethics thing. It says individual commissioners should be knowledgeable, accurate, honest, and forthright in their dealings with other commissioners, local elected officials and staff, applicants, and the general public. Although not elected by the public, preservation commissioners are accountable for their actions in the communities they serve. That's where that comment came from. We're not getting what we wanted. I think the board of supervisors can expect that type of accountability.
I would certainly. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
No, I'm done with that.
I would certainly welcome any expectations that this board has of the commission. So far as I know, and you know, I went through my records, which are not the same as going through the secretary's records, but I went through my records, and Lowell presumably has on file everything that we have assembled, and so, I mean, I could have come down a day early and gone through those records. I don't know that we have received clear expectations from you, and that, because we haven't asked, can be an oversight on our part as well.
I don't know what this board is going to do right now on resolution possible 868-13, but I would strongly suggest, if we do nothing today, that a couple of your members, if they're going to keep on pursuing what they are pursuing, that they ought to at least resign off of your board. And that way,
I agree with you,
I think your board, I think the Preservation Commission does a job that is necessary in this and that, but I'm not going to tolerate some of these members doing what they're doing and continuing to do when we also have a job to do as a board of supervisors. And
we were elected to do that.
Back to the two being on both sides of the issue here. You can go on to ethics. What board is that?
Disclosure.
Ethics and disclosure.
Campaign disclosure.
And I noticed that a lot of these preservation commissioners also pay money to the Friends of the Courthouse, so they are also helping pay for all these negative ads. And they're trying to influence folks, in my opinion, wrongly, and not living up to that code of ethics. But what?
I appreciate that point. I mean, I think, however, you are treading on thin ice when you say, if you are a member of this commission, you cannot, for example, support a political cause.
And that's
You know?
fine, they can be there, but,
We don't have to
you read what
support it.
it's all.
So,
I would, not
but,
necessarily, I want known that I'm not against the Mitchell County Historical Preservation Commission, but at this time, I don't think it's doing our county a whole lot of good, and I'd make a motion that we do rescind that approved resolution 86813. And in the future, should a group get together and be willing to adopt that code of ethics and be willing to live up to the standards of that code of ethics, I would really listen to passing another resolution creating another historical preservation commission.
I don't want to interrupt your process here. I have a question with respect to that, and that is, do you question the ethics of the commission or of specific commissioners? Because if it's of
Then
the
I think I
commission,
would let you take that back to your group, Kurt, and you sit down and you go through it, and you ask each commissioner if anything in that code of ethics gives them pause as to their actions towards this board or the community as a whole.
if we are disbanded, then presumably there won't be any more meetings. But if
Well, I left it wide open on the other end. If somebody could come along and you pass them ethics, those articles of that ethics, I'm all ears. I love history. I watch History Channel. There's a lot of things in this board. When we first were together, we actually thought we could probably do something with that old courthouse. But as time went along, holy crap, things started falling apart right around us, and then you start calling in engineers and people, and they're all saying, well, you got problems here. So this is how everything moved down the street. I'm not going back there, but that's my feeling, and that's my motion.
You made the motion?
Yeah.
I will second that motion.
It has been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 868-13, a resolution rescinding resolution 769-10 and dissolving the Historical Preservation Commission for Mitchell County, Iowa. Further discussion.
I have a question.
Okay.
Has this, so I am not a historian of the Board of Supervisors and its action. Has this been done before in your memory in the history of Mitchell County where a commission has been rescinded for not being seen to have been doing its job? I mean, has that happened before? I think we're at the brink of history in the making here.
I don't know that it's not doing it. I don't know it's not doing its job. I think
It's how they're doing their job.
I think it's that some of the same members are.
Like I'm getting tired of getting kicked where all the time.
But it would be the action not of the commission, but of specific commissioners.
Well, there you go.
I think
That's
it
why
is.
y'all have to have that little bit of a, what do they call it?
Evaluation.
Self-evaluation or
I-
examine
I-
your conscience type of thing.
I agree with it. I mean, I think that in all cases, people need to.
Kurt, I don't have a problem with you. I think you're a pretty straightforward, upright person. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't care, but I don't know who's putting these ads in the paper, and if they think they're cute, they are not, in my opinion.
We have attorneys that threaten us lawsuits
Oh,
and so on and so
absolutely, yeah.
forth. I mean,
We had,
and it's the same people. It's the same people on this Preservation Commission that has attorneys threatening us. I mean, we got copies of those letters. Every time we turn around, I mean, and we're trying to do a job. We've been hired to do a job. Like Joel said, when we first started here, matter of fact, before those two were on the board, Lowell, you can attest to, I mean, we tried to preserve that thing. We shored up beams in clerk of court's office.
Spent a lot of money there.
A lot of money there.
We had electricians looking at changing the wiring. nobody wants to tackle it, they're concerned
There's 6
about.
generations of wire through that old thing.
Well, I think we've kind of gone through all of that
Is-
Yeah.
100 times. And
But
let's
this
call
could be an
rules.
unprecedented step here.
It
So far as
could-
you know.
It could be,
Yeah. Lowell, you don't remember this happening before?
Not in my time here.
Okay.
but,
Call the vote.
further discussion. Hearing none. Morel. Oh, you vote no.
Aye.
Morel.
Aye.
Walk. Aye. Motion carried.
But I'd also like the minutes to reflect that we left the door open, and I don't care, and put it together somehow, we'll hold that in the future if another group or maybe some members of the same group come forward with their proposal. We're all ears and we will listen. I will anyway.
And I will too.
And that can be in the next month if you.
Right,
consent.
yeah, there's no time limit on it.
I mean, there's no big gap or anything.
This could be reborn next week, if that's the case.
Well, I appreciate, as I mentioned, I appreciate on behalf of the commission, the pleasure that we've taken in serving our fellow citizens. It is disappointing that you don't feel that we are worthy of being, of continuing. We've now heard your rationale.
I think you've done a lot of good things.
I appreciate that.
No, I think we are, because we
Nobody's
left the door
questioning
open. We're worthy.
What they're
You're
doing.
worthy
it's
of
how
whatever.
they're
It's
doing.
how some of the members are trying to have this dual
Dual
whatever.
role, good guy on one side and kick him on the next side. Doesn't work that way, I don't think. I mean, if I was to do that to my boss, or bosses, I still, they'd fire me wherever I work.
We will certainly reflect on this conversation, and we will see what transpires, and undoubtedly, we will keep you posted.
Thank you.
Appreciate the chance to visit.
Is there
offices.
anything else for County Attorney Walk? Since this
I
fell
have
under.
nothing else.
Pardon?
I say I have nothing else for Mark.
Thank you. Sheriff Beaver, was there anything that you wanted to?
I don't have anything, gentlemen, unless you guys have something for me.
Engineer Brum, front and center, take the hot seat.
Which one is it?
The tax office.
Good morning.
Morning.
We are.
Road department.
Yes. I got some truck quotes you had last week for what we had talked about, the performing truck. And I went through to Mason City and I went to Charles City and I said, what do you got on your lot? What can you find on the lot? They found things that really didn't match what we needed exactly. The prices are kind of high. What they're telling me is that if we order a truck, we can get it far cheaper than trying to find it on the lot. We're out 6 to 8 weeks. I don't think that's gonna hurt us at all by waiting 6 to 8 weeks. If we
Still get us 13.
Yeah, we can get a 13 3/4 ton. They're still taking orders on those. And I've got a couple quotes, and it seems like Ford is the one that's got the best kind of government package. We got a quote from Mike Molston for a 2013 Ford for $23,600.
23.6.
Yeah, and then the Mason City dealer, he was pretty close too. He had a quote for around, I had to add some things in there, 23,726. So we're within a couple $100.
3/4 ton.
3/4 ton, yeah, single cab. So, I think it's probably the best route to, and I did get some quotes on some Chevrolets too, but they were a couple thousand higher. So I think just based on bidding and whatnot, the Ford's probably the way to go. So if you through, I might just set up an order and a delivery for a different pickup. And we did get our quotes back and don't know what the insurance is doing on the other truck yet, but we're around the $6,000 range to fix. So I think I might just go ahead and order a different pickup. And I think the 3/4 ton will serve us far better than the half ton ever would. So
Now, what about the repairs on the?
for that, we're gonna wait and see what insurance says. We got quotes.
You got estimates?
We
on
got
that?
estimates from two local body repairers, and there's a lot of unknowns in it yet too. So they don't know how far, they don't know the extent of the wire harness damage. Even the Ford dealers, when I talked to them, they said that's pretty weird that that even happened, so. It's not something that's common, thank goodness, but,
Yeah, I think that's a good plan.
I just think the 3/4 ton will serve us better for what we use it for. Heavy duty parts.
What color is
Whatever, it'll probably be silver, I don't know.
it? Okay.
You know, just trying to
What
get
do
a
you want, a
special.
motion?
Well, I don't know if you guys just
Oh,
want to.
do we need one? We don't need one, that's in your budget.
What I do need to do is amend my budget so I can pay for it, because
Oh.
the whole amendment last time did not happen the way it was supposed to, so I need to get some.
Vote on that.
So
Yeah, well,
when that, and the truck won't be in for 6 to 8 weeks, I think you'll have a budget amendment before then.
May.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
May is when
we can get that all squared away by
amend
then.
anyway, amend the budget.
And then, are you looking at, getting rid of your truck too, sooner or later?
Yeah.
Maybe we can wait till July and something like that, maybe.
Oh, you're not gonna get his truck?
Oh, we're not, okay. Whatever.
Yeah, don't put your eyes on that one.
Yeah, just
Whatever.
put the blinders on, you can't look over there.
All right.
You want a Tahoe?
Tahoe, I don't know if that would do so well. Whatever, I didn't, I know at one time it was a possibility, whatever, it doesn't.
Well, we got to talking, Rich.
That's
and
fine.
We thought that with a snowplow
Sure.
would work better on the pickup
Oh, yeah.
than on that Tahoe. And the Tahoe's, what, a 98, I think, or something that's
We'll find other
getting
things.
pretty
It's not a
weak in
big
the
deal.
knees,
It's not a
so
big deal.
I know we'd
No, that's
talk
fine.
about it.
Well, there'll probably be another one coming up next year, won't there? Or are you gonna get rid of the car?
Well, we have a couple of Crown Vics yet, Joel,
Okay.
that will be next up, yeah.
I mean, we'll be fixing that form that adds to the fleet anyway, so. That being said, I'm still working on the budget and program, I'm getting things dialed in as far as where the money's at now. STP funds right now, because we've got McIntyre to Stacyville slated for 2015, STP dollars are depleted down to, I think we have $30,000 left in STP, so it's gonna take a while to build that fund back up. Farm to market's doing okay, but we have a couple projects, some of the farm to market money's gonna come out for STP projects, because we gotta backfill 20% of our $2 million there. And then we've got Hickory Avenue Bridge, that's gonna take 20% funding from that. And then we've got Walnut, that we're gonna pave in the near future here too, with farm to market funds. So we'll be looking at some of those funding issues. I think the next projects we do, we'll have to probably come out of farm to market till we build up our STP dollars a little bit more, which seems to be pretty typical. Our last STP projects were the ones south of New Haven and then to the county line past the landfill. So that's where that's at, and I will get you guys the information when I get it done. I'll email it to you guys so you guys can look at it and see where we're projecting things. And I plan on doing that this week so we can have it by Tuesday to look at.
2015 for the
Yeah, so it'll be let,
65th Street.
yeah, and that'll be let, I think it's scheduled for letting in January, so.
Well, I'd still like to do a tour though this summer first, to really look the whole county over to make sure that.
Yep.
Because, again, we're gonna have to start stretching some of these dollars. I mean,
And
if we're not getting potholes and so on, and I realize we can also lose dollars if we don't do things, which also can cause a problem. I mean, sometimes you do projects when you really wouldn't have to do them because otherwise you lose them and you're that
Yep.
much further behind, but we've really got to
I
take a
don't
look.
disagree, I think we need to go out and kind of.
We really got to tour the whole county. I mean, if we have to spend a whole day in the car hitting most of these roads, because we got a couple 100 miles of hard surface.
There's nothing wrong with doing that, I'm all for it, so. I did kind of look at where we were at with age of roads and everything else, and then looking at traffic counts, and, we can look at conditions too, so.
I think Dean had a question for you.
Yes,
this morning.
I don't know if this is, and it's basically addressed to you, is, I live down on March Avenue, south of Osage here.
Okay.
Toward Orchard.
And towards Orchard, yes, and where that black top is down there, I have one concern that we have in the community down there is there's a bridge that crosses Mitchell County Trout, or the trout stream down there, and this board has been broke out for quite a few years. If you go over the bank here, you can go right into the creek or right into the Smith.
Okay.
And we were wondering if maybe something could be done with that Because this used to be all the way
It
across
did,
here.
okay.
And if somebody was to come, this is a 90-degree
Yep.
turn. If somebody was to come around there and it's a little slippery or something, there's really nothing that could stop you from just going right over the edge. At least this could slow you up.
Okay.
So maybe you could take a look.
Can I
at
hold
that.
on to this?
You can, that's yours. And another thing, some of the shoulders have kind of dropped down on there because of the truck traffic.
Mhm.
And there is a sign, I live at 3246 March Avenue. There is a sign in the ditch on my side of the road that says trucks turning 750 feet. Well, we've always kind of laughed about that in the community because we thought that that sign should, they might be referring to the trucks turning on the Falk's driveway,
Okay.
Falk Quarry driveway. Because if you're going north, I really don't know where there's any trucks turning up there.
We'll take a
So
look at
that-
that then.
You know, until you get to the
Yes,
stop sign.
yeah.
Has it been up for quite a while?
What's
Has that
that?
sign been up for quite a
Oh,
while?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but we kind of joke about it, but as long as I was bringing this up,
Oh,
I
no,
thought I'd
sure.
address it. And
You don't want to take credit for that sign.
You know, but I don't know what the sign, if it was a construction sign put up at one time, if somebody had a.
No, it's a permanent sign.
Okay.
It's a permanent sign.
Yeah, it's a yellow and black or orange and
Okay.
black.
But I will say, you talk about the progression in Mitchell County. That blacktop road, we had a real dust problem down there. And we put in that blacktop road, and it really opened the door to the community, because at the time, we had quite a few households on, I think it's 325th Street and March Avenue, that at that time, we had 22 households on that road. So I thought that the blacktop was really warranted. Well, then after we got the blacktop, a housing development was started down there. Now we've got like 36 houses and still counting. And so when you look at that, I just want to say thank you to Mitchell County supervisors and you guys for what you've been doing, because to me, this is real progress and just shows if you do take steps like this, what can happen, that it increases tax base, and that maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I see it.
Yeah, good point, Dean. Yeah, some of that March is the edges are busting a little.
Yeah, we're seeing that. And the one thing that could be done is on future paving projects is to pave wider and keep our pave to 24 foot, but keep the 22-foot width, and then you've got a paint line inside the shoulder. It keeps the traffic in where it is, and it gives you a little bit more edge support. That's not a guarantee,
No.
and it does cost more money to pave wider than what we
Yeah,
have.
and you'd have
But
to-
if you want to try to, a person could run numbers and try to balance out what you're gonna save by not paving it versus what you're gonna spend to repair it.
You'd have to widen the shoulder too then.
And a lot of it too is structural support. It's tough, you know.
If you-
We do what we can to try to keep the rock up on the edge to keep
Oh,
that
yeah,
structural
yeah.
support, and
I'm
it
not
doesn't
saying that,
always.
I'm just saying that I noticed yesterday when I was on that road that there were several places where that, and it's not just the traffic that does that, the darn gophers, they start going and undermining things. and-
Well, and you get good heavy rains, and depending on where it's at, it'll wash the rock away too. It's,
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of problems in this part of the country. We have the freeze-thaw cycle from 20 below to 100 above, and that's
Yeah,
hard on
speak one more time
everybody,
on this.
Yep.
including supervisors.
A couple of the spots, and I will say that the county came out and they did a good job, as much as they could, like you said, building the rocks up on the shoulder and everything. But a couple of them spots had already been done, and one of the problems is just when they go, before they pull into Falk's Quarry, if there's another truck or something coming out and it's real hot, the trucks will sit there for a while, and if their wheels are too close to that edge, that's when, it basically always happened in that one particular
Okay.
spot. I mean, there's nothing we can do about that, I understand that, but that is one of the problems. And another problem that we have is when you're coming from Orchard, and I think there's a sign there now or something, but as you're coming through Orchard, you can continue north on the Orchard pavement, or you can go ahead on, I think it's 319th Street is the one that runs out of Orchard to the west. There is so many tractor trailers that don't realize that, and they end up going across the railroad tracks. They go down into where Steigers and them live, and they get in that corner, and they have a heck of a time. carries
make that
a
90
lot of
degree.
truck traffic
There's
that
some
gets
kind of- I know we're talking
jammed
about-
up in
Yeah,
that
we
corner.
should get,
Some type of
we were
warning
trying to
sign.
figure out a warning sign at one time, weren't we? We never did get anywhere
No,
with,
we did talk about that a year or two ago.
Mhm.
tractor trailer traffic, or maybe
Some
warning
kind of
type.
warning,
Yeah.
90-degree turn, narrow road,
Yes,
something
because
to that effect. I don't know what's out there.
we were visiting with some of the neighbors yesterday at our house, and that was one of the things that they knew as long as I was coming, they wanted that brought up, because Stagger says so many of them tractor trailers, he says, are going through our ditch and end up in the north ditch, or the south ditch, excuse me, and.
Are they trying to get to Osage, and should there be a better marking for Osage this way, or is it just
That's a
That's a good
possibility
point,
too.
excellent
That's a
point.
possibility,
Osage?
too.
Yes,
And not
to
let 'em
Osage,
bypass, or?
that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because if you're talking tractor trailer, I don't,
See, there's really no reason for them to go down that way anyway.
right.
Where would they be going? They're going, if they go on that road, they're gonna be ending up on 325th or the Orchard Road anyhow.
Something better
Or
marking.
keep them off of that.
Unless they're trying to get to T-38 or something,
Well, that's a possibility.
you know, but.
Probably not.
Still tell them T-38 that.
But they can still get to T-38
Right.
Right.
going the other way. I
Exactly,
mean,
yeah.
exactly. They just need, we
Maybe
just
we
try to
could-
come up with some more signage down.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, thank you.
Speaking of signage, in the claims, I see you got Newman Traffic, $1,000, $1,100 of, is their signage different than what Prison Industries, or
I'm
what?
trying to think of what that was for. I should look at that claim again. I know we ordered,
There's like 10 of this and 15 of that, and it's back here in the,
it could be,
Moving traffic signs.
Mhm.
we ordered a bunch of portable signs to have in each shop, so when we're out cutting brush, we've got the portable bases and everything. And I'm thinking that's what it could be, and I don't think that Prison Industries sells those.
Okay, I mean, if they don't,
Pretty sure that's what this is.
but my own personal experience years ago, by buying some of these signs from other companies, they tend to fade rather rapidly. They're more expensive than that, and Prison Industry signs really have longevity, and the price is right.
Well, this isn't, no, this has been, I don't know why they, unless they found a cheaper price.
But cheaper isn't always better.
No, no,
if you
no,
have
I know, and
longevity.
I see that these are arrow signs, and then they're minimum maintenance road signs, so I'll have to find out.
Yeah, if you would please
Yeah,
report
'cause
back,
usually-
'cause I mean, I'm not real thrilled if,
You know how many
paper
signs?
clip goes on the other way to hold.
Hold the other ones up. No, I'm sure. Jim,
How many units you got for that $1,000?
could that have been, I'll look again, I'll find out what they were, because it was minimum maintenance road.
There was quite a few units, I mean.
Yeah.
There was 10 of this and 50.
40?
40 of them, okay.
Oh, that's quite a few.
That's fine. Special one color, I don't understand. The special one color type. I'm not sure I even saw this invoice. 3 by 30.
Got ordered by Jim Berry.
And he usually takes care of all the signage, so I leave it up to him, he's making. I'll find out, I'll let you guys know next week.
What else, Rich?
We are spot rocking and blading as best we can. These roads are terrible, and hopefully we're done with snow. So we're gonna start warming up, so we got the groomer out of the snowbank yesterday, so when it does warm up, we've got something to pull behind and try to get things squared away. We are gonna look at this spring too, you know, with the paving coming up from McIntyre to Stacyville. Wanna go look at some of them box culverts, and see if the guy can't start getting this, and maybe extending some of these box culverts and get the guardrail. What is it, a snow trap for us? So we'll be looking at some of that stuff in the future too, but, that things are progressing. I'm gonna talk to, Ivan today and Locke, getting some specs congealed together again after we got the orientation and stuff figured out for the buildings.
Check and see if your lot, that lot's in the floodplain.
That's what we're gonna talk about today.
Oh, there's one corner of it in, but it can be built up and taken out.
Or depending on how much of the corner is in there. I don't know if we can build without going down in that hole anyway. So I don't know how much it is. I haven't seen this. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know today. And the only other thing on my agenda was foreman salary.
I feel whatever he feels right or he wants, I think that,
I'm on second Bob's motion.
Did
I don't think it makes a whole lot of difference to
you
me.
have any thought on it? Since
I thought about
got on the way?
it. I thought I'd take the salary myself, but
It really shouldn't be what he wants.
What's that?
I says it shouldn't be what an employee should say.
No,
what he wants.
I know,
I
but
said it's.
we've had a
what he
discussion about
wants.
that, and
Okay,
I
thought it
feel,
sounded like you.
no, I feel that it's almost better that you get paid for what you're, especially in that position when you're up in the morning. It's not his decision. It is not. It's this conversation that we had together and made the decision together that I feel it's.
Well, to that extent, I mean, there is many a day that he should be on the road at 2:30 in the morning, because like you say, if the plows have to be out by 4, he has to have made some loops and whatnot in order to be given the call out already at 3:50. I don't know what time they give the call.
It depends on where he's at, like.
How's he
what-
get a call? Does he get on the NOAA weather radio or something like that, or?
You don't, he goes out and makes the decision. He goes out and.
No, I mean, how's he know enough to go out? I'm not gonna get up 2:30.
You wait, if
every
you know the
morning.
snow's coming, that's
Well,
when
if
you.
you know, but what if one sneaks up on you?
Well, just like Sunday, it was kind of blowing and he kind of was nervous, so he just decided he was gonna go out because he knew that there was gonna be could be problems. He goes out in the morning and decides and he.
But isn't this also something where you can coordinate with Sheriff Beaver's department, because he has deputies out, and so, I mean, if it's starting to blow and that, you know, one of the deputies can surely call. Or dispatch, or to have the deputy radio dispatch and have dispatch, that's one of their things that,
We can help you, Rich, however you prefer.
That, you know, whether he goes out at 2 in the morning isn't the issue as much as, because he's not doing anything different than any other foreman hadn't done. When you kind of know there's weather coming, he debated whether to get up at all, but he knew it was blowing out, and he knew what it was on Sunday, how it looked, that it was probably gonna be bad, so he went out. And we did call him in at 5 to scrape this stuff off, because it could have been a problem, so.
Just curious.
We sat down and talked about this for a while, about how he wanted to do it, and I kind of said salary would be better, but there's also some, you know, there's no chance on earning any, everybody else in that department that's out there, they earn comp time and they get time off, and, you know, for his responsibilities and everything else, he might deserve a little time off too.
This item says salary increase for road foreman, but it's not a salary increase.
No, it's not an
basically
increase, it's just.
going to staying on salary.
It will
or
be,
going to hourly.
right, because in effect, it potentially is an increase because now he's gonna get paid for overtime, which he doesn't get paid for now. At any rate, he needed the increase anyway because he's way underpaid for what, I looked at the district averages and state averages, and he's substantially underneath what the averages are, and rightfully so needs to be, even where our last foreman was, so.
Well, that's your department, Rich, I think I'll let you handle it.
and you had made the motion, Bob?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll second.
And Joe would second, further discussion.
That's what you want, right?
But, yeah,
We need to do
I
that
think we
motion
can,
or
and we
something
can
like
manage
that.
the overtime and everything else the way we see fit, you know. We still need
You
to
work
keep,
with
you know,
your
we still.
department and you-
Well, you keep an eye on it to see if
That's
this is
exactly
working,
where we're
if
at,
this is
yeah.
working like
And
you
that's
feel
where.
it is, or if it's being taken advantage of.
That's exactly
or-
where I've talked to him about that. I said, we need to kind of keep things under tight wrap here because it could get easily
How's it
out
work?
of control.
Work done.
Well, he's hourly, and over there it's a little different setup.
Oh, okay.
I mean-
I didn't, yeah, I know, I just know you said last week that that's the way.
He's hourly, and, you know, there's things that are happening now that don't have to happen. You know, I know that he'd go out on a our foreman would go out on a Sunday to go get time cards because he thought they had to be in right away at 9 o'clock in the morning, and to do that doesn't work. I said, no, we don't need to be going out on a weekend to go get time cards, that's overtime. And he says, I don't like doing it either, so, I mean, unless he was out checking roads, that's, so we're gonna, if we've got a bridge closed and there's fence up, we're obligated to check it Friday, and because we don't work Saturday, Sunday, we don't need to go out every day of the week and check to see that those signs are up. I mean, we could, but do we want to be paying somebody to do that? There's that whole negligence thing, and I don't feel we need to be out spending extra dollars to verify that the public's not damaging things on weekends unless we get somebody calling in telling us, that's a different story.
Well, there again, though, that's something else too, really. Your department possibly can be coordinating with Sheriff
And
Beaver's department.
I think they would tell us.
That, I mean, we have this fence up here, if you're driving by, I mean, if you happen to be driving by, please take a note
Yeah.
to make sure the fence is up so that we don't have a liability issue.
Sure.
And so, like you say, if they're aware of it, I'm sure they will do it if
I think we
they're in
can
the
coordinate pretty
Yeah,
well.
if there's a, some concern, a specific concern, just call the office, we'll send a deputy up, check it.
Sure.
Don't call a guy out.
And I'm out on weekends too, I look at some things too, and if it's bad enough, I'll grab a flag and pound it in. I mean, it's
Kind of a flag.
those wooden flags.
You haven't ever given any of us those
Can
flags.
we
And
have
once
some
in a while,
flags?
we need, we get a call and we
Now, we should probably carry.
You guys wanna put
you
on a time
Try-
card?
try to,
Probably carry a few with us.
trying to garner all the flags for yourself, huh?
Oh, there's a whole stack of them.
You got cloth on them?
Yeah, they do, and I think they get stolen sometimes in certain areas. They get
I'm gonna
used.
call that.
I got one, but it was in the middle of the road laying there. I stopped and picked it up. I thought, I don't know where it's at now, but I thought, well, I suppose you want it back.
We ordered material in the Lath. and
Okay, we got a motion on the floor. Brown,
Heck,
Oakland,
Aye.
Walk, aye, motion carried.
All right, so we've got some blading and rocking going on. I'll find out about the signage thing. I don't know if that maybe invoice was opened while I was at Worth County and claims needed to go in and I didn't see it. I don't recall seeing it.
Just
Apologize for
know
not seeing it.
January, I'm sure there's a good explanation.
I'm sure there is. And I don't know if it's, maybe it was a dollars thing, that it was cheaper, but Iowa Plains Signing also does, they all have to meet certain requirements with materials. So we're making sure of that, but let me check on that, because it's weird to change a vendor that quickly.
Must've been a reason for it.
It must have been. Unless we needed them urgently and Iowa Plains was, or Prison Industries was behind.
Maybe there's a free toaster with it or something.
up on Monument on the state line.
Okay.
I came back that way from Rochester Sunday, and, we
The
talked about
intersection
this.
again?
Yeah, we talked about that, where the road width is varies when it meets the state line. I think Minnesota's is wider than Iowa's, and that gravel just disappears out of there. So there's a couple of chuck holes there.
Okay.
It's nothing- It's an accident waiting to happen.
I think
I
we
don't know if we
contact,
can-
I think
we
we
could-
contact Minnesota, that's their intersection to maintain.
If they could,
Wonder
put
what,
something more
maybe-
solid in there.
maybe this summer, if we've
We
got
could pour a
our,
little concrete in there.
well, maybe our AMZ machine, we can get out there and kind of build up the shoulder a little bit. Kind of, I don't know if it's a couple feet or what, but
Yeah.
it'll glue together better and maybe not.
Yeah, it needs something, because if somebody's coming off of that, or, a little off to the side, they're gonna hit those
And that A,
holes, and they're gonna go flying, because it's not good.
and the A to, is it A to Z machine?
AMZ, I call it. It's
AMZ?
the Dur- It's got, AMZ is the brand, that everybody calls it a Durapatcher.
Is there a video or anything?
What do you mean they all call it a Durapatcher? They like call it a...
I call it AMZ and everybody else says your Durapatcher, like, whatever. You
Is
know.
there a video that comes with that anybody can watch to see how that's actually supposed to be done?
Why?
Well, I just sometimes question.
When I don't know how long we've had it for quite a while, and I think the city's had it
Oh,
for a good portion of the time we've owned it, so.
I know what Jerry does, he gets about 2 or 3 guys out there, and whoever ends up running it the best, that's who gets the job.
Well, you know how that happened, and then
But then that guy probably doesn't know it, but I can't imagine it'd be that tough of a job.
it's not, I
You
mean,
know, and
I know that this stuff's, we probably gotta try to touch up T38 again this spring, just because the DOT's gonna detour on this road. I know a lot of it's kinda dished in again, and,
There's something we need when we go to our tour of what we're gonna do with those roads. Cause
Well-
they gotta be upwards of 30, 40 years.
yeah, and I'm in the process in Worth County. I've got a state line road up there that's got asphalt and concrete every other mile, and it's the stretch that I need to repave next year, and so I'm actually meeting the concrete guy. No, it's state line 510 up by Emmons, but I had the asphalt paving group come in last week, and I talked to them about options to work with, and now I'm having the concrete guys come in. They're all gonna sell their product to me, it's a matter of, but, you know, they said, estimate $50,000 per mile per inch of asphalt. So if you go 4 inches of asphalt, that's $200,000 a mile. That's strictly the asphalt product, that's not shouldering, that's not traffic control, that's not paint. I backed our numbers out with concrete. Our concrete numbers that we bid last time were $104,000 for 4 inches per mile of material. So we could put 8 inches of concrete down for the same price, material-wise, as 4 inches of asphalt. So it's gonna be a difficult sell, but at the same time, there's a possibility of an easier way to pave that concrete road up on the state line to where I don't have to go and tear out concrete, patch it, cover it back up. They use an aggregate a 2-inch aggregate interlayer. The concrete people say use a 1-inch asphalt interlayer or a fabric interlayer, and all these have different costs associated with it. But even if my interlayer is a little bit more expensive, I can still get concrete for cheaper. So that'll be a good test to find out what we probably need to start looking at for south of town, 105, things like that. So it'll be a good test.
Good, I like tests.
So, well, I do too, it's just
Only if you pass.
right, because the minute something falls apart, everybody starts yelling at you, what'd you do? You know,
Well, you
how
would
do
need to do it on 15 miles versus doing 1 mile.
Right, and I guess the one option is it's that road on the state line. Well, one of it's Worth County, it's not your, but still me.
Better yet.
So, but it's the traffic counts are a little bit smaller there, so it's kind of not in the limelight as far as experimenting. But so we'll see how that plays out and which way we go. We may end up. I may just want to put concrete down and use that method just because I know it works. So.
Well, our open lakes, I mean, I know they're brand new, but they sure seem nice.
They do, and I think next time we do them, we're gonna, instead of bidding in the extra overage of concrete, I think I wanna mill the surface and make sure I get it 4 inches everywhere, instead of, because that cost is kind of, okay, well, I spend the money in milling versus spending the money in overage of concrete. But then I know I've got 4 inches. I don't get those anomalies like we've been seeing where it's 1.5 inches.
Yeah, but that's only on one road.
It is.
And that was because they strung it instead of GPS.
I don't know that mattered.
Really?
String, because they still use the GPS at the same increment. They surveyed the same points. All it was an invisible line.
Okay.
So,
Well, I see there's more spots on the road. I drive out.
yeah, there was only, I think we're up to 3 or 3.
What's the plan for that coming forward? Wait, see this
I don't
spring
wanna wait
when the
too much
temperature's
longer.
70 degrees and.
Well, you gotta wait. You wait till it rains,
Rain
and then it
and
gets to be about 95 degrees, and that's when
I thought
things.
they were popping out when they were 70 degrees.
Yeah, I don't know if they did it when they were 70. I know a majority of them came when it was like day after rain or a couple days after, and then it got just crazy hot. And that's when.
I think it
things
was the
started
steel wheels that followed it.
popping. I don't know if they're running that far north, but
I think they dropped the saw too deep.
a lot of theories.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, we did have
Part of
one.
it.
We did have one in Worth County last year, and it was heaps. Man,
Yeah, that happens with concrete. You see it all over. It gets that hot.
so that's the difference between rigid and flexible pavement. You're gonna get a bump either way. It's just. Anything else?
Anything else?
Right now, I
Drop
guess.
that off.
Sure.
Finger all that.
Nice coming
Probably
through.
next week I'm gonna need that thing again.
Okay.
Well,
You just stop by.
yep, all right, okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Greg.
You're welcome.
Okay. See you next week.
Behave yourself.
I always do. I don't get in trouble. My name's not been in the paper.
Okay, CAT grant update. I take it Director Shirley, that's what you're here for?
Yeah, I just need, you all read the letter, I assume, and I need your signature stamp. They put Bob down in the template, I'll write that out. I think they still have
Well,
it.
we'll need a motion to,
Allow the chair to sign the CAT grant,
request.
request.
Request, yeah.
I'll second that.
It's been moved in second that we allow the chair to sign the CAT grant request, extension request. Further discussion. Hearing none, Voigtlander.
Aye.
Morel.
Aye.
Locke. Aye, motion carried.
Adam,
Yeah.
on, you were looking at some chairs and stuff, you know, I never got back to you, but I was up at Sam's Club this past weekend here. They have some nice padded stackables for like $20.
Sam's Club?
And they have folding padded for about 18, so
Okay.
they have a couple of choices of stackables that are really nice. For
Yeah, I tried to look
$20.
at their website, because I've heard Sam's has some deals, but they don't show up on there.
They don't put it on the website.
Do
Yeah.
they come on a rack? Do they-
I don't know about that.
I suppose you can make a rack easy.
Probably have to.
We do have a rack for the metal ones that we could use, I don't know, but.
I'm sure
But if
even
it's stacked, you
for,
really wouldn't need.
they probably for a government entity, I think they
Easier
even
to
make
go
a better
around
deal.
with.
That'd be the only thing.
I'm following
So we
there.
call up there and talk, ask for one of the higher up on the
Well, if you could use one of your.
What do you guys think for
wheel
the
carts,
timetable on
maybe.
that, or?
What's
I
that?
don't know that we had a timetable necessarily, but
Uh,
We'd kinda
chairs
like to
for-
get-
Oh, you
Get
got
that
your
going.
budget, you got your budget, don't you? What you, what?
You've seen my budget.
Yeah.
Did you see a chair item in there?
Equipment.
But if you're not spending it somewhere else, you can use it.
capital improvements.
If you find someone, I guess my feeling is I would work with you on it. Because it is getting to be used more and more out there and, you know, and
yeah, and when we have the space and we have people standing because we don't have the chairs, that's kind of silly.
Yeah, it's a bad deal. All right, well, I'll call up there and see what I find.
Yeah, give them a shout.
probably keep some of those that you have in reserve just in case for overflow.
Definitely.
Okay,
Thank you, guys.
Yep, see you, Adam.
Minutes, we have 2 copies, one for the regular board meeting, one for the special.
I didn't have any problem with them, anybody else?
What you're looking for.
I think I've read this one. That's fine.
And do you have a second?
If everybody's
Yeah.
okay, I'll.
Yeah, I'll make a
motion.
second. I believe I read them at home, so.
Yeah,
Been moved and second, further
Nothing's
discussion.
changed, I guess.
Hearing none, Morel.
Aye.
Voigtlander.
Aye.
Locke, aye, motion carried. Approve the claims. The other question I had is, on the postage meter, Lowell, I see you bought $2,000 and some on stamps from Purchase Power. Is that an outfit, I mean, does like the local postmaster get credit for those stamps then? Because that.
I don't, the government does, I mean, it's.
Well, no, but I mean, what I'm trying to say is,
I know what you're saying.
the post office,
Do they get the
they
revenue?
get, their amount of service in that depends on the amount of stamps plus the amount of volume that comes in. But stamps is an important part of how they get credit for
Yeah,
the
I-
size and so on. I mean, would you,
I don't know on that exactly.
I wonder if they get credit for that sale.
would you want to try to look into it?
Okay.
And otherwise, can we actually purchase, even with that machine, can we be purchasing the postage up at the post office? I mean, if,
Well, we have to go
Whoever has that
online,
machine.
yeah, it's through
Pitney
Pitney
Bowes.
Bowes, I mean, that's the way it's been done for a long time.
But you could give them a call.
Put the money
see if
into
they do
it.
get the credit.
Yep, okay.
yeah. Or if, I mean, like St. Ansgar possibly might be close to being an 8-hour post office or a 6-hour, I mean, maybe we could help them get over the, I don't know if, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. If they get
Because-
credit for the revenue, then know, that's,
Because if nobody's getting credit for it, why, and maybe we can't do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Check
something
into
to,
it's just something to find out about.
other than that, and the other one on, the Newman signs, I have no.
Second.
Sure. You want 5 minutes?
Sure.
5-minute recess.
Started the yard.
Can I second?
I will second that motion.
Okay, it's moved in second, further discussion. Hearing none, Bookbinder.
Aye.
Morel.
Aye.
Walk, aye, motion carried. Asbestos.
Well, we had it evaluated for asbestos. We have 2 bids. One was for, second here, one was for $78,887 to abate it, and the other bid was for $151,075. I would make a motion that we,
Do we have the money to, or we will be able to, okay.
I make a motion that we allow the chair to sign the acceptance of proposal with Advanced Environmental for the $78,887.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved in second that we abate the asbestos.
$78,887 worth.
Further discussion.
It's gotta go no matter what.
Hearing none, Bookbinder.
Aye.
Morel. Walk, aye, motion carried. Wellness program agreement.
I had a wellness meeting this week, and I know we saved the county some money last year, probably $20,000 or something, but the ISAC and Walmart people, they wanted to put the money back to the county and have the county do all the work and write checks and 1099s and all of this other stuff. So we had a conference call with a party down there at Des Moines, Corey Jackson, and we gave her some reasons we didn't want to do that, and if they don't want to change the way, we don't have a line item for it, number one, and it just isn't a good thing to dump all this work back in the county, because there's already people doing some of the work that for them now, and actually taken away from their job here at the county level. And so for what few dollars of savings there was, we thought, well, maybe we won't renew that contract next time around. But I just thought I'd throw it on there for discussion, let you know what's going on, and if we hear back from the state, people down there at ISAC or whatever, and if they change their mind, we'll just stay with the contract, and if they want the counties to do all the work, I don't see any point in prolonging. So I just want to bring that up for discussion.
Okay. Items and vote. Meetings attended.
Places where they're
Did a Heartland insurance meeting last week. We got $44,600,000 in equity. We discussed, does anybody know in this county who our hazmat coordinator is? That's Ray, right?
should be.
Okay, and anytime that any of the fire departments have, say there's a hazmat spill out there, he's called in, and then they contract with the
Mason City Fire Department.
Mason City Fire
They
Department.
have all the equipment
And that
over
was a
there.
big discussion down there in Hardin County. Seems that some of the local volunteer fire departments want to become hazmat trained. But they're having a hard time with that because they already contract. Well, the problem was, they went out, there was a spill, they could not do anything because they were not trained, and all they could do is stand there and watch for 2 hours while this acid or whatever it was, drip, 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 and when the hazmat group showed up, all they did was took a wrench over and tightened 2 bolts and it was done. So now they seem to think that they wanna have that, but I guess the county is wondering about the liability and, you know, so, and it's not like you have a hazmat spill or whatever. Anyway, that took up quite a bit of our time down there, and, but other than that, that was pretty much what the meeting was. Carl was there, we did discuss the snow ordinances, and I said, well, which one's on with that? And I guess some of them are still thinking about it, and the cyber stuff, I said, well, Mitchell County, we already kind of discussed it, we thought, you know, it's probably a worthwhile to do that, and, but evidently others did not. And after that, I came back, I went to the Tom Madden, you guys were there also, I had to leave early, went to Prairie Ridge, had a meeting over there. It was kind of a good, they had a couple of their clients there that had gone through kind of an exercise of their, I don't know, their outlook or dreams for the future, and they put them on a board, and they kind of gave us a little bit of a program on that, and how, evidently I think they were almost through the program. But one of the big problems I saw, and I felt bad for them, is that once someone like that, and this one gal, she said she was on meth and everything, and she had some kids, and she was hoping to get them back, but when they leave there, they really have no place to go. I don't even know if they even have a job, or hopes of a job, or whatever. It's almost too bad that there isn't some type of an organization that could almost take these people in and kind of, I don't know if you'd want to call it retraining or what, or, you know. But then again, I mean, it's another layer, but you gotta wonder sometimes. And anyway, that was one of the bigger items that I noticed there. I had you put down the Prairie Ridge audit report. We did get the audit, so I just want that mentioned in the minutes that it says and it was clear clear audit, you know, I mean, with no problems anyway. After that, economic development last night, discussed possibility. The spec building in St. Ansgar has been sold, but Ivan had said that they're waiting for some sort of a document from FEMA in Washington DC, because evidently a corner of that lot also is in the floodplain, and so that's holding up any, you know, getting that loan to go through and whatnot. Doesn't sound like it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a little bit more of a waiting game. And then when the $150,000 comes back from St. Ansgar, Stacyville is looking to do a spec building and partner with, I think it is Alliant up there, in their industrial park. They're also working on doing the road through, and then Brenda gave a little bit of an update on what she could on as far as where things are going with the fertilizer plant, you know, other than the fact that she was on the phone yesterday for half an hour getting beat up for confidentiality clauses, and but it is what it is. And, that was pretty much my meeting.
I mentioned I had the wellness meeting. We just basically reviewed the financial things and had quite a discussion with the people down in Des Moines about whether we're going to continue this or not. Exciting there. I had the Board of Health meeting last Thursday afternoon. Revenues are way up, expenses are up just a little bit. Revenues are at 85.5% at 66% of the year, so they've been really busy there. Expenses are just a tick over. They're at 68% at 66% of the year. The flu vaccines have been ordered for this coming fall already. It seems like it gets earlier every year. They ordered 1,000 doses at 9:30 in a dose. One of the things, we had a presentation from Jerry McCracken on a mobile alert system. for, you've probably seen that commercial, I fall and I can't get up, and, that life alert thing. Now, this new system goes one step further. They have a little unit here, it's portable, you take with you anywhere in the country. It's a GPS, so you could take it in your car, you could take it to wherever you want to go, and if something happens, they could find you with GPS. And that's the regular, just the plain unit's $29.95 a month, and then the GPS is $10 more a month. And at FMC Decategorization Governance Board meeting yesterday morning, we reviewed the FY13 contracted services with just about everybody. North Iowa Community Action Organization, LSI Parent Partners, LSI Integrated Response, Charles City Community School District Mentoring, Charles City Community School District Integrated Mental Health, Chickasaw Mentoring, Chickasaw Integrated Mental Health, and NICO Flexible Family Support. Reviewed all of those contracts, and I did one of them. Charles City will be funding their own mentoring next year, so we're going to fund that. Last night I met with the community club in Riceville. We went over a few grants. Received a $5,000 grant from FEMC and $1,000 from Shop on State. So they have a total of $14,500 now toward their project in the park of updating the tennis court and putting in some basketball hoops and things like that. Their estimate, they're just a couple $1,000s from their goal right now. And then most of the discussion was on the WAPSI update and Ag Days, and Little Miss program for Ag Day, and advertising in travel and leisure. Also had a report on the Bloodmobile that will be in Riceville on April 3rd. And they really are very generous in donating blood in that little community of, how many?
740, I think, is the
740 population. They've donated 1,600 units of blood since 2006. So it's quite a... Soda. About 400.
Yeah.
So the Red Cross people kind of use Riceville as a...
They tap them once in a while.
They tell other communities, look at what these people are doing and set your goals a little higher. So Riceville set the mark. So
blood only lasts so long too, doesn't it? I mean,
you can't keep it forever.
Yeah.
So.
Well, when they set up in MRFs, why, that's...
And a transfusion.
They do?
Those were my four.
And I had RC&D, they had their annual meeting, re-elected the same officers. Basically, again, we're working on projects that otherwise don't qualify for funding, like, basically anything that NICOG does. They want an administrative grant, administrative monies and that. And so part of what they've been doing again though too is working on water issues. And speaking of that, next Thursday, Larry Weber will be here at 3 o'clock, not at 2. He's got a conflict a little longer than he thought at Postville. So
that's next Thursday?
Yep.
This Thursday.
What's
So
that?
It's this Thursday, the 28th.
Or, this coming Thursday, yeah.
Oh, this coming?
Yeah.
That's okay. 28. Let's see if we can do three. And that's on the Cedar sheet. Yeah, not about three of them too. That's on the Cedar Valley watershed.
Yeah, he's going to go through why, again, it would be to our advantage to be a member of this thing, and what really are liability issues that they see, perceive that could be liability versus
for landowners.
And so in any event, he wants to have a little slide presentation or whatever, we can shoot it on PowerPoint on the wall, we can shoot it on the wall. Soil and water won't be here, so we'll take care of that. The other thing, manure management plan update. I see you had some here this
Yeah, I got
morning.
6 of them. We have Robert Neese in section 16 of Burl Oak. The Benson site in section 17 of East Lincoln. You have Heman West Finisher Farm in section 30 of Wayne. Kurt Halverson in 23 of Otranto. Fitzmaurice Tip 5 Finisher Farm, section 22 of Union. And the Geiger's Sow Farm Sow Litter, section 10 of Wayne.
So noted. Is there anything else for the good of the cause this morning?
Well, you got item C, you got
I already mentioned that in my
Okay.
report. Yeah, that's just,
Oh, I guess I must have had a different,
okay. No, I have nothing.
if not, we'll stand adjourned at 10:05.